Hey guys, so it's happening as predicted. Right when October 7th happened, my friend Frank and I immediately said, much to many people's chagrin, and I was personally lambasted for it, that the event of October 7th was allowed. And a lot of people attacked us. A lot of people personally attacked me. And when we said it was allowed, we attempted to explain, before people, either cut us off or attacked us or blocked us, that it wasn't allowed by people like Bibi. It was allowed by certain elements in the top brass of the military who are leftists, who are proponents of what's called the concepcia, the concept. What is the concept? The concept is basically a containment strategy against Hamas. It's not such an effective one, but it is one that exists, and that's what they were proponents of. If you guys are asking, who is it? Give me some names, Tzvi. Okay. Herzi Halevi. The guy before him, Kohavi. The guy before him, Eisenkot. You want to go further back? Let's go back to Ehud Barak, who's the former head of the IDF. Also people like Ehud Olmert in the shadows, people like Benny Gantz as well, who was the head of the IDF before. All of these guys who were former heads and then became politicians, prime ministers, or just prominent politicians in Israel, are all proponents of this strategy. They're also all of them. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot one guy, Gallant. All of them are Bibi's enemies. Now you're saying, well, didn't Bibi appoint Gallant? Folks, I mean, Bibi's one man in Likud. There's other people in Likud. Also, there are people that come to Bibi and say, listen, man, appoint X, Y, and Z, or we're going to abandon you. If you think the leftists are coming for you, you got enemies inside of Likud too, right? Okay. So folks, you got to understand, and it was explained to me by Israelis themselves. I have Israeli friends, some of whom served in the army in a pretty high level in the army in the 70s and 80s. And they still have friends in the military. And they told me, Bibi all but doesn't have any, let me rephrase, Bibi has almost no power over the high command of the IDF. Okay, now that we understand that fact, okay? So, recently, of course, as predicted, as Frank and I said, because you didn't need to be a genius to understand that, looking at what happened on October 7th, how it took about 7 hours for the army, for the brunt of the army to show up. The brunt, not like a couple of guys here and there fighting, battles, which they were, valiantly. But, folks, of course now a report comes out of Israel that this was in fact the case. So Caroline Glick reported on it masterfully. So now what happens, guys? As I said yesterday, and I told people, who are sitting in America and looking at what Israel is doing, they think Israel's a monolith, right? So of course, all these anti-Semites and all these Israel haters and all these Jew haters jump on this bit of news and they say, you see, Bibi made of, the Israeli military and Bibi, well, it's Bibi, made a false flag because he wanted to go, fight a war and eradicate the Palestinians and do genocide in the Palestinians. Folks, again, we had people attacking us for sowing discord and disunity. And I told my friends in some of my groups, I said, Guys, I'm all about having unity with you, with my fellow Jews and citizens of Israel. I'm all about it. What I'm not about is not calling out traitors. There are traitors among us, folks. Traitors. Those guys I just mentioned. I'll name them again. Guys, I'm happy to name them in the open. Herzi Halevi, Gadi Eisenkot, Benny Gantz, Gallant, I forget his first name. Guys, you should know, there's a video going around, it's in Hebrew. I want somebody to make, maybe I'll make subtitles for it. The mayor of the city called Ofakim in the south, which is close to Sderot and close to Netivot and that whole area and envelope. He called Gallant at 7 o'clock in the morning. Hey man, I'm being like, I'm not dramatizing for this for you guys. Hey man, we're about to be overrun. My city's about to overrun. It's not a small city, Ofakim. It's fairly, decent sized city. It's not a huge city. Oh, Gallant said, we're taking care of it. The Israeli answer. No offense to my Israeli friends, but I've heard that many times from Israelis. We're taking care of it. Don't worry, we're taking care of it. It's being taken care of. Okay. He called them at 8:30. Dude, it's only got worse. We're taking care of it. Folks, from 8:30 onward, no one showed up. I mean, thank God the guys who were defending Ofakim were able to fend these guys off for the most part. Ofakim was not one of the places that got, completely decimated. God, thank God. Finally, someone shows up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Folks, Israel's a small country. Like we always say, if a caterpillar farts over there, we know. Israel's technology, you don't even know what they have. I have friends in Shmone Matayim in the unit 8200. I asked them, what do you guys have? They jokingly answer, half jokingly, if I tell you, I will have to kill you. If I tell you what we have. That's their answer. That's their standard answer. It's the James Bond answer, guys. And I have friends that tell me, no, it was the holiday, everybody was off. I'm like, what holiday? What everybody was off? Israelis celebrate Simchat Torah? The Israeli army celebrate? They were partying. The Nova, they weren't celebrating Simchat Torah. Or maybe they were in their own way, but they're not off. It's not a yontif for them, okay? Like it is for me and folks watching. They're not exactly walking around the Nova Festival or these army bases on the border going, Good yontif, Good yontif, Good yontif. No, folks, I'm sorry to say. I mean, God should bless them, but most of the people are not, as my friend likes to say, they're not religious, bro. They're not religious. What do you mean they had off? Everybody was on. Everybody was there. Not everybody, clearly. Folks, what Israelis and a lot of people allow to be done to them by the government, by the apparatus, really, of Israel, is they are allowing people to piss on their head and then to tell them that it's raining. In Russian we say, don't hang noodles on my ears, Don't tell me fables, because I'm smarter than that. Folks, again, you didn't need to be a genius to see what happened, right? So again, my friends tell me, Tzvi, be careful when you say that, because Jew haters might take it and run with it and say, oh, it was an inside job, it was a false flag, it was a this, it was that. Folks, again, all that matters is that we know the truth, right? Because ultimately this is a life or death situation for Israel. We must get rid of these traitors. We must. As you see, Bibi right now, he dissolved, I guess, the war cabinet, and he's going to make decisions. It's going to be basically two groups of people making decisions, and, I don't know. Whoever the soldiers listen to, who knows? As you guys could see, the soldiers fight the war amazingly. Every so often, these fruitcakes in the Ramatkal, in the high command, tell them to pause because they have to talk to some fruitcake from the Biden administration or some other fruitcake, right? And then they allow them to move forward every so often, right? Because if they didn't allow them to move forward and have victories and have progress, forward progress, the soldiers themselves would storm the Bastille. They would come to them. They know that. So they throw them a bone every so often. Folks, I mean, we need miracles for this. Because of this. We need miracles. The Israeli army is being... The soldiers are being hampered by the high command of Israel. The lefty, fruitcake, traitor high command that we now found out, which we already knew, but now we have confirmation from documents that they allowed this to happen. The high command. Why? Now you may ask why. Folks, what was happening right before October 7th? Bibi's government, along with a gentleman by the name of Simcha Rothman, they were trying to initiate judicial reform. These guys saw that this was going to pass. This was going to pass, despite all of the, the protests and all the, despite all the lefties in Israel throwing bricks at cars full of little Jewish kids. Yes, on the road. This was going to go forward and this was going to pass. They had to take down this government by any means necessary, folks. I had people telling me, Tzvi, oh, you must not know who Jews are. You're accusing Jews of this and that. I'm like, folks, these people have Jewish last names. It doesn't make them Jews. Eisenkot, Halevi, Galant, Gantz, Ehud Barak, Ehud Olmert, they have Jewish last names. It doesn't make them Jews. Some of them even grew up in religious families. Folks, that don't mean a damn thing to me. That don't mean a damn thing to me. Okay? So, they had to do what they had to do. I mean, they didn't have to do it, but they did it. They felt that they had to do it. And now, the question is, what are we going to do about it? Now that we know the information, now that Israeli public officially knows the information, what is everyone going to do about it? I don't know. I hope they do what needs to be done. Maybe they're saying to themselves, well, we're going to have elections and, we're all traditional and religious and we're going to elect an even more religious government. Okay, we can wait for that. When is that going to be? Just before Rosh Hashanah or just after? They said what? End of September, beginning of October? That's one avenue. Another avenue is just for all these guys to be replaced. All these army, all these generals. And for Bibi to appoint people like Ofer Winter. He would be the first guy with a kippah on his head to be the head of Ramakal. There's other people there. I'm sure more, even as suitable as him. Just one person on top of my head I can think of. My friends, we know the truth now. People like my friend Frank and I, listen, we were attacked, we were blocked, we were called, somebody called me? Oh, demagogue, yeah. When I spoke on October 8th to one of my own groups. It's not my personal group. It's a group I was in, which I subsequently left. Yeah, these people in Israel, we have to have unity. Unity with who, folks? With the Erev Rav? With people who allowed horror to happen just because they wanted to change a government? Where it was so obvious to any person who had a brain? How the mighty IDF couldn't, was instructed to. Was ordered to not show up for 7 hours. Ordered to, folks. We know that now. Confirmed. Fact. But we didn't even need to wait for that to understand that. My friends. It's a very sinister moment in Israel, my friends. It's a very sinister moment. But, B'ezrat Hashem, we understand that Hashem runs the world. And we understand that ultimately we don't really care what the Jew haters think. We really don't care. We only care what's going on inside our nation and what we do about it. And if we have traitors, which we do, clearly, traitors. Folks, I met one of these guys. I met him in person. Every time I meet one of these guys, he's one of these army guys, I get the creeps. he was a politician before, and now he's back to being a military guy. Supposedly Kudnik, but folks, there's a lot of them, and the IDF is full of them. The top command I'm talking about, the top command. I'm not talking about the soldiers, the wonderful, fantastic tzaddikim soldiers, tzaddiks. Big difference. And they have to serve these fruitcakes. They have to be commanded by fruitcakes. Folks, I mean, this is just... I'm telling you, Hashem should protect them. Please God, Hashem should protect them from the command of fruitcakes. The high command I'm talking about, not the mid-level guys or their officers, direct officers. God forbid. And we should see victory very soon. And you know, we're going to go into have a war with Hezbollah. I mean, I don't know what's going to be over there. Folks, Bibi's going to have to do something. He's going to have to do something with this, because I don't know. I don't know what's going to be now that we know 100% what we know. Anyway, guys, just my 2 cents on there. And listen, if you want to comment or debate about it, feel free. But what we said on October 8th is obvious to us now, is known, is proven, is demonstrated, is in the open. But the question is, what do we do about it? So Hashem will do the right thing. Alright, guys. Peace.